Hey folks, it's the Red, and welcome to my Crash Twinsanity extra video. In this part, I'll be showing you all the extras and stuff that we got from collecting all the gems, as well as some backtracking paths, glitches, and some other odds and ends. Let's start with the backtracking paths, because that is a pretty key thing to know about if you plan on 100%ing the game. So this is the area that you would need to be in order to go there. To get to Iceberg Lab, you can just jump on the boat, which is now available from any pier on the Twinsanity Island. To return to Totem Hokum, you just go the normal route, going up this hill and into the cave. But if you want to go back to the first two stages of the game, Jungle Bungle and Cavern Catastrophe, well, you wouldn't be able to get up there using this cave that we came out of initially, but there is a path over here that you can follow. For the longest time, I did not know about this path, which made getting 100% on this game a bit tricky, because I just assumed that if you didn't get all the gems the first time you went through the first two stages, that you were locked out of getting them, which would have been just terrible game design. But yes, there's this side cave right here, and if we follow it all the way to the end, it'll give us plenty of lives. And just like that, we're back at the first area of the game where we started. See, there's Crash and Coco's little beach setup. It's like nothing ever happened. So yeah, there's that, and then you can just continue on this way to go play Jungle Bungle and Cavern Catastrophe. Yes, we know about you, Aku Aku. Let's go look at some other backtracking paths. So here we are outside of Cortex's lab in Iceberg Labs. And getting to the three stages here is actually pretty simple, as well as the three worlds. To replay Ice Climb, you just follow the Wampa path into that cave over there. To replay Slip Slide Icecapades, the first Humiliscate stage, you just jump on this platform and ride it all the way up to the top. It goes up and down, so you can choose which way you want to go. But we don't want to go this way right now. Camera? There we go. And then if you want to replay High Seas Hijinks, well, I'll show you the way you go for that. You just head in this direction. This is where we had to go to get some of those gems. There will be some of these wobbly platforms to jump across. These platforms won't appear unless you've completed Slip Slide Icecapade the first time. And then we just want to head into this cave over here, where we'll have some explosions to get around. This path can also be used to get back from Slip Slide Icecapades to get back to Cortex Labs. It will let you replay Slip Slide Icecapades again and again if you missed any of those gems, which you undoubtedly did. Get out of the way, Bat. That is one problem with this backtracking path, is that there are a lot of bats. So be prepared to answer to them. It really makes me wonder why they didn't just do a proper stage select of some sort, instead of creating all these backtracking paths. Well, I guess this makes it more interesting than just simply select a stage from a map screen. But still, common sense would dictate that you should have a map of some sort and select your stage that way. Still, props for an original idea. Right, that's the one you would set off if you were going the other way. I was losing track of where I was supposed to jump there. Once again, they give you plenty of opportunities to get extra lives here. And there's Engine's battleship. We just head in that direction and we can replay High Seas Hijinks. And there's the way we come from Slipslide Icecapades. And then you can just go back through the cave if you want to replay that. As for the linking of worlds, well, there is a way that you can go back to Twinsanity Island, and that is to jump onto this boat, the same way we got from Twinsanity Island to here. Simple enough. To return to Madame Amberley's Academy of Evil, we just go back in this direction and up to the blimp. And to return to Twinsanity Island, we just jump into the Psychotron here. Stepping on any part of that platform will send you over there. Be advised, though, that if you do go to the 10th dimension, you cannot return to the main world until you've beaten the final boss again. At least not from what I've seen. From what I've read, you could just jump on the pad again to return to Iceberg Lab, but in my test runs, I haven't been able to do that, so I don't know. From what I can see, you have to beat Twinsanity Island again to come back. Not a lot of backtracking paths to keep in mind for the Academy of Evil. You just step onto that rising platform in order to go back to the blimp, and that will take you back to Iceberg Labs. You can go back down the stairway to replay Boiler Room Doom. And then you can just head into this doorway to replay Classroom Chaos and Rampage, and Rooftop Rampage. Pretty simple. And here's the backtracking point for Twinsanity Island. Obviously, you just go straight ahead if you want to play Ant Agony, but if you want to replay Bandicoot Pursuit, you just head in this direction, a little past the exclamation box that would take you to the yellow gem. Here you'll find a blue cave. Set off this explosives to get to those question blocks for lots of lump. And this will take you back to Evil Crash's area. And from here you would replay Bandicoot Pursuit. Now if you wanted to replay Rock Slide Rumble, well then you head over in this direction. You'll see what looks like some sort of warp orb. You just jump into it, Crash gets sucked into it, and arrives in the control room of Cortex's lab. Head into this doorway. A platform will appear. If you just give it a minute. There it is. Cortex's lab doesn't change from the Iceberg Lab version, naturally. And of course you can jump back into that warp orb to return to Ant Agony. And here's the Psychotron room. Supposedly you can jump on it to return to Iceberg Lab, but as you can see, that doesn't work. Anyway, you just head back in this direction. And there's the platform that would take you up to Rockslide Rumble. And that's how you backtrack in Twinsanity Island. We've already seen the game over screens of Crash and Nina, but now let's have a look at a few other ones that didn't make it into the LP. Here is Cortex's game over screen. He looks like he's in quite a bit of pain here. Or at least it feels that way because of his teeth and the way his tongue goes under his body like that. It's pretty funny. This is the game over screen for Crash and Cortex. This is for when they are both holding the crystal. For some reason you don't get this game over if you game over in the Humiliscate or the Roller Brawl sections. Which seems appropriate because Crash and Cortex are together, so this should be the Crash and Cortex together game over. So why not? Oh well. And here's the one for Mecha Bandicoot. But obviously the only way you could get this is if you somehow died in the final phase of the final boss, which as I said was the easiest part of that fight, so it's unlikely that you would have ever seen this during the playthrough. Now, Mecha Bandicoot was supposed to have his own stage in this game, and that would have been the more likely place to see this. So there are a few bugs and glitches I'd like to show off that didn't quite make it into the LP. Like I said, there are tons of bugs in this game, and I'm discovering new ones every day. But here are a few that I wanted to show off but didn't get around to. The first one is off in this direction, around the starting area of the game. Use this bounce crate to try and get on top of those question boxes above. Time to jump carefully. Ooh, almost messed it up. And you'll be able to make it up top, where we will find the arena in which Crash and Cortex have their first fight. And yeah, if we look over here, we can see the backdrop that was seen during that scene. It was actually the first area all along. So yeah, Jungle Bungle just loops all the way around to here. But you can't actually go inside here, for as you can see, it's all just a clear object. It doesn't become solid until you get over there properly. But yeah, pretty interesting nonetheless. Don't you just hate it when you walk into invisible walls? At the bee chase area in Totem Hokum, after you set off the first set of nitro, run back past Cortex, wait around here for a few seconds, and then run back. Suddenly, Cortex forgets how to jump over a stump. Using this glitch, you can actually get to the end of this section as long as you avoid the checkpoint crates. Okay, what just happened there? Just another of the glitches in this game, I guess. See, I didn't even plan to show that. That just happened while I was going in between stages. You see, this game is just chock full of glitches and bugs. It's crazy. See, I didn't do anything there. I was just holding crouch that whole time. It bounced me off. This game. So here's a neat little shortcut for those rocket rooms, roughly in this area. If you jump over here, then you could skip over that whole section. There's another jump like that here in the second rocket room. However, there's a gate up that would prevent you from being able to jump up here. But there's a small hitbox around here that will let you double jump again. You can use that to get over it. I never thought I'd be willingly coming back here, but you could double jump and spin past Rusty to get behind him. Aha! Now the hunter has become the hunted! Unfortunately, you can't make practical use out of this because there is a hitbox down the road that would prevent you from being able to proceed onward. That would be Rusty's hitbox. It stops at a certain point, so you wouldn't be able to reach the checkpoint crate. Still, I could suck up the moment. Come back, Rusty! You'll make fresh meat for my pot! Nope. Yeah, that's roughly about how far you can go. Right about there. So if this section of Classroom Chaos in the library is giving you a bit of trouble, well then this glitch is for you. See this door frame here? It's a solid object. If you could do a double jump on top of it, do a double jump in conjunction with a body slam, you can jump on top of the door frame, and then up here. You'll bypass the hitbox that would cause the slime to rise, and you'll be able to go to the top without having to rush. Because cheating! After you've completed the game, be sure not to touch Nina in the Psychotron area at Iceberg Lab because she damages you, just like Coco does. Boy, does Crash just have a hard time with the ladies in this game, or what? Because, yeah, we don't have that problem with Cortex. So what the heck, Nina? What the heck, Coco? So as you can see, we are at the platform right before Rock Slide Rumble. But, as you can see from below, there's a bit of a ground level down here that you normally would not be able to. The elevator that would normally take you down here will not actually do that because the elevator is missing. However, with a little parkour magic, we can still make it down there. That crane down there is a solid object. We'll be able to land on it with a carefully placed drop. Just need to line myself up well and drop straight down. Ooh, that was close. Alright, now we just need to follow this thing down carefully. One false step and you will take a falling death. Okay, now we just need to double jump around this thing. There we go. Drop down here and land hard on your back, and here you are at the ground level of Cortex Lab in the 10th dimension. And as you can see, it looks very reminiscent to the area around Iceberg Lab. So I guess it just took some of the landmass of Iceberg Lab with it. See, this is where we went to get those gems before. See, originally there was supposed to be a 10th dimensional equivalent of all the landmass in Iceberg Lab, as well as a 10th dimensional equivalent of Ice Climb, which would have gone right here. Sadly, that did not make it in. Frankly, there's not really anything down here. Oh, case in point here, the elevator is indeed out of commission. That would have been our way back up there, but once you come down here, there's actually no way back up. So all we have here are some Wumpa Fruit. The original Wumpa Fruit. And here's where the boat would be that would take us to Twinsanity Island. Now it's just an eerie purple sea. They definitely planned to do more with this area, as you could probably tell, but they just did not get around to it. And no, Cortex's front door still doesn't work. But before we head back up there, just one last thing to look at down here. If you need further proof that this area was not intended to come down here, Crash is now Crash Bandichrist! He can run on water! This is pretty funny, I think. But don't worry, it's only for this section here. Eventually, if you run out a little ways, you'll find some actual water to land into, and then you will be brought back up via a lost life. That's all there is down there. And it's interesting to think about the world that could have been. So after you break this world crate, right after Ruck, Slide, Rumble, and before Bandicoot Pursuit, you would normally follow this path to go to Evil Crash's house. But if you instead go back down the hole the way you came, well, let's go down and see what happens. Some careful platforming is needed to get back down. Remember, you can't jump all the way down, otherwise it counts as a falling death. Like so. Right, let's try it again. Okay, where's the hole? There it is. Oop. That was a little risky, but yeah. This is probably the hardest part right here. That's one way of doing it. I can hear the enemies below trying to buzz up to me. Clear them out and then just head back over here. Normally this is where Crash and Cortex would land at the end of Humilescape, but if you walk up to it, suddenly we are shown an image of the sky. The first time I saw this, I thought the game was going to lock up. See, the cutscene is kind of freaking out right now because it doesn't know what to do. With no Cortex object around, it's just going to move the camera around in such a way that normally it would be following Cortex. It doesn't know what to do. We confused the game. So if you follow this backtracking path after going through it once, oh! Don't you just hate it when you walk into invisible walls? In all seriousness, the reason why that's happening is because it's stopping you so that it has a moment to load the next area. A weird way of going about it, but it only seems to happen when you go through the backtracking paths in the quote-unquote wrong way. See, normally you can't go to this backtracking path the way I just did. What I basically did was go through it the right way, then turn around and go the other way. So because it wasn't expecting that, it had to trip me up so that it had a moment to load the next area. Kind of a weird way of doing it, but whatever. See that? Case in point. That'll about do it for this part. In the next extra video, we'll have a look at the gem bonuses, the stuff that you get for completing the game 100%. See you then!